This oven was first built in 1985 by a gentleman named Dale Heisler. And after a lot of years, cracks developed, started to kind of deteriorate. And King Arthur thought it would really reinforce the mission of strengthening community through baking. Not only in building the oven, but getting to know each other, knowing that we're providing something for the future community. The goal for today is to dismantle this, see what the foundation's like. We're gonna retain the foundation, strike a level surface, reset the hearth, and then build the clay form. My thought was to retain as much look and aesthetic of the oven as possible. So I think, as maybe the first thing is to pop the door out. Ovens are benign objects, right? They contain fire and they give us the ability to cook food and continue life. So taking apart ovens is tough. I think it's kind of sad, but it had to be done to be able to continue into the future. Nothing lasts forever. And this is really where the community spirit initially kicked in. Everyone is going through, rotating through, doing different parts, and having a good time. So where we are right now is we demolished the old oven, and then we had to do a fair amount of work getting the foundation back so it was solid. And then once we get this, once we establish that hearth surface, we will actually start taking more sand and building a form that's going to be, the shape of that form is going to be the oven box shape. So when we're making that form, we just have to remember this is what the inside of the oven is going to look like. So we got the hearth set, we started mixing clay, and then we got the actual walls of the oven in place. And it starts to become exciting at that point because you can visualize the oven. You can see it taking shape. We're at the point now where we are getting ready to make the sand form. We have the door set. We have a system to just kind of hold those, what we're calling bumper bricks, which is going to contain the sand form. We're going to make it just this gentle, sloping oval. The highest point is going to be 20.5 inches off the deck because that's the magic ratio of 63% of these 13 inches. So we're actually starting to build the oven now. Clay form's completed. We put a newspaper layer on top of that just as a little junction between the clay and the sand. And we're making sure that we have the clay mix that's not too wet so it doesn't slump along the bottom. And then we're building approximately a 4-inch layer all the way up and over the dome. The oven's nearly covered in the clay now. We're doing one thing. This is a new door to us, and it's pinned down into the fire brick. But what we're worried about, especially since it's a community oven and lots of people can use it, is that if it becomes a little bit wobbly and falls forward. So one of the volunteers has come up with this idea of just putting this wire mesh. It's going to be midway through this layer. We're going to wire it back. There's some flanges here. It's going to prevent it just from pulling out. That's just going to give us a little stability for the door. So I don't think we have much work today. We just have to open up one of those bales of straw, and then we're going to pack it on, just like we did yesterday, and then that'll be it. So we're back in Norwich. It's been 2 months since we built the oven. So it's had a good 6 weeks of curing, which is important to let the oven fully dry out. There's gonna be tremendous amount of change when we get a roaring fire in there like we have now. It's heating up, it's getting to our pizza temps. We're all set up with our pizza toppings and just waiting for community members and from King Arthur Baking and from the surrounding community to come, and then we'll start making some pizzas. The vision of King Arthur Baking is always to inspire community through baking, and I think everyone who's been involved has really been able to experience that sense of community. As the word spreads, and as people learn to build an oven here and go back to their community and then pass that on to someone else who's interested in it, and just continue to spread.